Here are saying Britain is grinding to a halt because of the so-called Pingdemic, they're calling it, with more than 500,000 of us told to self-isolate in the last week.
Telegraph also looks at that issue, reporting that neighbours are being pinged by the NHS app because the Bluetooth signal passes through walls. It means that some people are having to self-isolate despite never being in the same room or even in the same home as a positive case. OK, so you kind of imagine famous people all kind of know famous people, yeah, and they're not really that starstruck most of the time. David Beckham, he's popping along and, you know, probably one of the most famous people in the world. Is that fair to say?
Yes.
David Beckham? He bumps into Michael Caine outside a London restaurant, as you do. And he was just about to leave on his motorbike, this is Beckham, and he spotted Michael Caine in his car. And look at the big grin on his face when he sees him. He's just so chuffed. And so maybe they're friends, who knows? But the picture just makes it look as if he's fanboying him. So that's quite nice. Also saw this picture down below, this story down below, that seaside posties, and remember Sarah's at the seaside today, so we'll warn her about this, she's at Brighton, are wearing hard hats or using umbrellas when they're out on their rounds because the gulls keep attacking them.
It's such a menace.
Yeah, and this is one postwoman in Thorpe Bay has said it's been terrible. The other postmen here have been wearing hard helmets like builders, and one came up and puts an umbrella up.
In seaside towns?
Yes. So we'll warn Sarah later.
Well, speaking of the ocean, you might want to keep your eyes out for this little fella here. So this is Robo-Shark.
Okay.
Robo-Shark has been developed by experts, military technology experts in China. It operates nearly silently, if you'd like to know. Can move at high speed and carry out reconnaissance missions without being detected. Now, some people of a certain age might remember Stingray.
Yes.
And in Stingray, they used to, one of their kind of underwater ships was shaped very like this, by way of camouflage, in a sense. So if you go, have a look at this now, you see what they say is this, say, the scientists who developed it say, it's life-size, it's effectively life-size, although clearly a bit tubby. It says, replacing the traditional propeller, adding that it was not easy to distinguish. This isn't easy to distinguish from a shark when seen from a distance.
Right.
So from a long way away, they're saying it really does look like a shark. And apparently, I've never heard this before, there's been a number of these ideas for an underwater robot. There was one called the Ghost Swimmer invented in 2013. The idea that fish like submarines can go undetected around the world. So that's the latest one. Look out for it tonight. You're not going to see it, actually, obviously.
Well, if you're not supposed to see it, you shouldn't really look out for it. Maybe.